Hello, good morning everybody, and welcome to the TSG webinar, What's New in NAV 2016. This morning's webinar had a couple of technical issues, so this is actually a re-recorded intro just to get rid of some of the back and forth we had with the display problems. So but the content you're about to see is all genuinely broadcast live from this morning, so no need to worry about that. For those of you that were with us this morning originally, I'm still joined by Ian Wilson, our NAV pre-sale specialist, and Stephen Osprey, our apps partner manager. We will no need to go through the housekeeping because we've already gone through that. So without further ado, I shall pass over to Stephen Osprey just to set the scene, and then Ian will take us through all the exciting new features in NAV 2016. So yeah, thank you very much, Stephen.
Hi, good morning everybody. Just to remind everyone, my role within TSG is basically to keep a wide view of the market as the applications partner manager, so constantly reviewing and checking software solutions out there to make sure that we're offering the best to our customers. NAV 2016 has been on the radar a very long time, something we've taken a great interest in. It's about as exciting as ERP can be. In terms of any business system, the holy grail really is for it to have the ability to mold around your business processes as tightly as possible. So to ensure maximum efficiency, which is something we take very seriously at TSG. We've got a very strong customer base, particularly in warehousing and distribution, manufacturing, health and pharma in particular, as well as others, and those sectors are very demanding in terms of the questions they ask us around how can we be better, how can we do this faster, how can we cut out this particular manual process. If you're having to support your ERP or CRM system with loads of Excel or manual processes, or God forbid paper, it's not the best fit for your organisation. So NAV 2016 recognises this. Specifically with the new document management functionality and the workflow, which Ian will go through a bit later on, which really gives the ability to automate actions based on triggers within the system. That moves NAV 2016 into the realms of a proper bona fide business process management system. And from my conversations with Microsoft, this is really the beginning, the tip of the iceberg, and they'll expand on that. So I'll hand over to Ian Wilson, Senior Dynamics NAV Specialist, who will take us through the highlights of the programme.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Will. So good morning, everybody. I'm going to start off today with a few things which don't demo well, but are still nice additions to the software. First of all, we're going to just talk about NAV 2016 working natively with CRM. In the 2016 release, there's a direct connection to CRM, and this enables a seamless experience for customers who use NAV in the lead to cash process. The benefit of it being native within NAV now is that users can work in the product they prefer, enabling a more effective lead to cash process and facilitating informed decision making without switching products. Shared information and functionality between the applications provides easy access to relevant data from within either product without duplicating the business logic. The integration is simple to install, set up, and enable, and it works with the default setup in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2016 now. The next thing, which there's no demo for, but the system now works natively with Azure SQL. Azure SQL is Microsoft's in-the-cloud database offering, and NAV 2016 can be configured to use that as your relational database, and basically it eliminates maintenance and running costs. The costs are billed hourly at a fixed rate, so instead of paying for SQL licenses up front, you can just subscribe to the Azure SQL service. It also eliminates hardware costs and results in near zero admin costs. Talking of admin, there's built-in support for high availability, automatic backups, data protection and fault tolerance, and the database software is automatically patched and upgraded by the Microsoft Azure team, so that takes care of your security as well. With it being in the cloud, the service level agreement would be uppermost in your thoughts, I would think, and the Microsoft publish that they have an SLA of 99.99% uptime availability, So that's pretty high, ensuring that it will always be available when you need it. It also provides business continuity as well. There's multiple business continuity features, including point-in-time restore, geo-restore, and geo-replication. So you can be sure your data is safe up in the Azure cloud. The next thing is extensions. In NAV 2016, you can use extensions to deliver customizations, making upgrades seamless and providing the functionality to best suit your users' needs. They are distributed via an extension package file, and extensions can be easily installed or uninstalled, giving you complete control over the additional functionality that they provide. The benefits of using extensions over the traditional model of providing customizations to you is that they're, as I've said, they're easy to install on your system, they're easy to upgrade. You simply install the new extension version as part of an upgrade process and it takes care of itself. Or you can upgrade an extension independently without a full system upgrade. The extensions are easy to uninstall as well, and you have the option to archive the data from the extension when uninstalling or upgrading. This is all part of Microsoft's drive to make the core product easier to upgrade. They did a lot of that work, the foundation work in NAV 2015, and the introduction of extensions is further in that direction to keep all of the customization that you need for your line of business in compartmentalized packages called extensions. And the last thing on the slide there is the test automation suite. In 2016, the test automation suite is really for partners, and it helps us test the new business logic that we create for you and deliver via extensions, etc. It provides comprehensive test coverage of the Microsoft provided application, i.e. the core NAV, so there's no need for us to retest all functionality manually, and that allows you to focus on the new features only. Basically, that means a faster UAT phase, so your user acceptance testing phase should be a lot smoother and a lot shorter once we start using the test automation suite to full effect. And also it helps us identify regression before moving the extensions into your live database.
I'm just going to stop there, Ian, if we can, just to get a bit of feel of the audience that we're talking to at the moment. And I'm going to launch an on-screen poll, so there's a bit of customer engagement for you here, and also check you're still listening, still with us. So you should see on your screens now a poll just asking what your experience or your current use of Dynamics NAV is. So if you could just, we'll take one minute to select the most appropriate answer to you. And that will help us tailor our answers to suit you guys. So we've just got over half of you voting so far, which is great. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, we're just about there. So pretty much everyone voted. Vast majority of you seem to be using Dynamics NAV 2009 or older, which is quite interesting. So hopefully what you're about to see is going to be vastly different to what you're used to, and very useful. So without further ado, we will crack on. Thanks very much, Ian.
Okay, thanks for answering the poll there, people. It's really interesting that a lot of you are using 2009 or older. So if you're still using the classic client, I guess what we're going to see today will be significantly different to what you're used to using, as Will said. But yeah, let's just have a look. So if we have a look at the next slide, we're going to look at web client enhancements. So if most of you are using an old version, you won't even have a web client. The only way to kind of get it working on the web was to do lots of customization and third-party add-ons and things. But of course, Microsoft have been developing the web interface for the last few years, and in the 2016 version of the web client. There's over 60 enhancements, and that's 60 enhancements over the 2015 version. So I'm just going to click and launch it in my browser, and let's just have a look at some of the new features that we have in here. First of all, we have cross-column search. Sorry, it's just the screen's catching up. I see that we're there now. So we have cross-column search. Let's just find an example. If I go into the items list, and let's say I wanted to find something in one of the columns here, you can see there's a list of columns, and if I just wanted to find everything that had the word wheel in it, I don't need to select the column. I can just start typing, and that will find all of the items that have the word wheel in. So when you're using the web client, then it just gives you this cross-column search, and that allows you to zero in on the records that you want to work on very quickly. If I just have a look at an item card, which I guess everybody's familiar with within NAV, in the web client now we have collapsible fast tabs, so you can just close up the tabs exactly as you do in the Windows client, and you just click them to open them again. So again, that allows you to just use the screen real estate that you have a lot more efficiently and keep the information that's relevant to the task you're doing on screen. One of the other things which used to annoy me was when you were scrolling in a list like this. If I just close up the fact boxes, you used to have a wide list, and you used to scroll, and it used to scroll the whole list. But now you can see they've added a freeze pane to the display, so the item number and the description stays on screen as you scroll across to see the other columns. So as you saw on the cross-column search, there was also search as you type. There's language selection and easily change company. You just go into My Settings, and you can see here you've got language, which company you're working with, and there's lots more additions to the web client as well. But next thing I'm going to show you is on the back of the work they've done with the web client. They're kind of delivering it as one interface. It actually runs on the server part of your Navision installation. And the beauty of that is that we also get a universal interface, so it'll work on tablets and also on your phone as well. I've just switched to a different browser here. So this is emulating a small screen phone with a resolution of 640 by 900. And if I just log in, you'll see we get a similar look and feel to what we got in the full web client. We can choose I think these are called hamburger menus now, and we can go into the same item list, and you see the items come up, and you can go into the item card by clicking on it and just scroll down. They are reactive, so if you do rotate your phone, the screen kind of adapts to whichever orientation you're working in, and if you are in landscape, then it uses the screen real estate a bit more to show the activities already for you. If we just pop to the tablet interface, just re-log in. This is quite a low-end tablet emulation. It's a screen of 1280 by 600. And you can see here again, it's using the screen space that's available, but it's using the same interface on the Navision server. So all of the information is coming from the same database. Again, we have the hamburger menu. I can go into items, and you see we should get the same list of items that we were just looking at, laid out slightly differently because the screen's a bit larger. but if we go into edit, it just brings the item card up, and you can just change or look at any information that's there. If we go back to the home screen, and if we rotate the tablet again, you'll see it reacts and gives you the cues here on the side, and then this is a lot more like the web client that you'd get, or indeed the installed client that you'd install on your Windows PC. So those are the enhancements to the web client.
Ian, I'll just actually ask you a question here that's come in, which I think you've largely answered just with those last few shots there, about NAV16 being is it Windows and web only, or the base of the platforms that we can look at NAV on. So I know you've looked at the tablet, small screen there, and web. Any others that we can entertain or bring to the party?
Yeah, sure. There is on a tablet or a phone. There's what's called a universal app. You may have heard Microsoft have been working on a universal app platform, and that's no different for the NAV app. It is available for Windows tablets. It's available for Android tablets. It's available for iOS devices like your iPad and your iPhone. The 2016 one does work natively on Android and iOS, and obviously it uses the same rendering engine that we just looked at there to make use of whatever screen size your device is. The tablet app does have a minimum screen size of 7 inches, but of course if you have a large screen phone of 4.5 inches or larger, then the phone app's the way to go.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Ian. I hope that's answered that question. We'll crack on.
Okay, so we're going to have a look now next at the finance enhancements that have been made in the system. First of all, we're going to talk about is the posting preview. This is a fantastic new feature, I think, that allows users to view the impact of posting documents before you actually post them. I'm just wondering how many times you've been working on a complex journal. Like the look of the journal, and you can always use the test report that'd show the journal lines and the reconciliation to make sure the reconciliation amounts are correct. But I know in the past I've still hovered over the post button, thinking, have I certainly got this right? I'm going to check it one more time, because undoing mistakes can be a pain, and undoing a mistake you made a month or two ago, it's even more painful. So let's just have a look at the journals, and let's have a look at the posting preview. So this is a typical journal that you'd be working on, and as I said, you can always do the test report, and that'll run, and you can preview, bring that up on screen. And once it's generated the report, you see it just analyzes the journal that you're going to post, and then it gives you some details about the journal that you have in your batch. And as I said, at the bottom, it gives you the reconciliations, giving you the net change and the balance after posting. That's all great, and you can look, make sure you've got your general posting types and your business posting types, etc. Make sure all those are set correct, the balance accounts, and yeah. But I always think, yeah, I'm going to post this, and I'm just going to check it one more time. But now you can see that on actions we have, in the home we have posting, preview the posting. And basically this will do exactly what the system would do when you hit the post button without actually making without actually committing the journal to the ledgers. So what we get in the posting preview is it's a bit like when you're navigating on an account or a transaction that you've posted. You get the GL entries, the VAT entries, and in this case a bank account ledger entry, and you can click on the entries that you're interested in and show the related entries. And this brings up exactly what in this instance would hit the general ledger. So you can see that all your postings are going to the correct GL accounts with your descriptions and your posting groups, etc. And same with the VAT entries. So you don't usually want to make a mess of your VAT stuff. So you just double check that that looks fine. And finally, there were 2 lines on the bank. And yeah, that looks good. It's going into the right bank account. We've got the correct description, and the amount looks fine. So I'm now a lot more confident that I've got my journal correct, and I would hit post at that point. And yeah, that should not cause me any troubles later down the line, that particular journal. So the next thing to talk about, a brand new feature in the system is deferrals. In NAV 2016, deferrals functionality, it offers the ability to automatically defer revenues and expenses over a predefined schedule. It enables you to easily recognize revenues and expenses in periods other than the period in which the transaction is posted. This new functionality provides several benefits, including it enabling additional financial functionality in Dynamics NAV. It greatly reduces the time and effort required to defer revenues and expenses, and it also enables reporting on deferred amounts for customer, vendor, and account ledgers. The new deferral functionality is available on purchasing and sales documents, as well as general journals. So just have a look at my chart of accounts. Just a couple of new accounts which are in the. If you're used to seeing the demo company, you'll have seen this chart of accounts before, and I've set up a new 16200, which is going to be the account for my unearned income. And I also have 8697, just had to squeeze it in, but this one's my unpaid expenses. So I'm just going to show you how deferrals work. You set them up in templates, so I'll just go into that part and let's have a look. You can see I've set one up here which is 3-month revenue deferral. Just got the one. If I just edit that screen, and we can see what's behind it. So basically I've just given it a code, 3-month sales, a description, 3 months revenue deferral. I've set that deferral account, the 6200 one that we just looked at in the GL, and the number of periods is 3. The other ones, the other bits of data on there are not really relevant to what we want to look at. And that's how you set them up. You can have as many deferrals as you want. Usually with NAV, the question is how many can I have of something? It's usually the answer is as many as you want. And then I'm just going to show how we would use that deferral template. So I'm just going to have a look at resources, which are the people who work for the company. I'm just going to have a look at Mary. And you can see against the resource, I've put, against Mary, I've put the default deferral template as 3-month sales. So that will automatically be the template which is used whenever we're charging out any services by Mary. So let's have a look at how that works. I'm just going to create a new sales invoice. Make a new one. Just press enter to get the next number. We'll sell to our friends at the Canon Group. And we'll enter the line items. So I'm going to choose type, resource, and then we'll choose Mary. And you'll see once I chose Mary there, because I'd set against her the default deferral code 3-month sales, it's now brought that in automatically. I could change it at this point, but we'll just leave it for now. And we're going to sell 150 hours of Mary's time. So we'll just accept the we'll accept the default schedule that's come up. So just following on from the posting preview function that we just saw, with the with the last enhancement to the financial system. I'm just going to have a look at the deferral schedule here, and you can see what it's going to do here. We can it's going to split the amount, which is 16,050, over the 3-month period, just using straight line method. There are various other ones, equal period, etc. But we're just going to use straight line for this example. So if I post this document now, the sales invoice, and then we can go and have a look at a new report, the sales deferral summary. And I'll just do the balance as at a particular date. And if I preview this report, it'll go away and calculate for me the deferral. If I just make that a little larger so we can see the figures, hopefully, on the screen. Yeah, so we can see as of the date of the 25th of the 1st, we've got Mary, the deferral account, number of periods is 3, which was taken from the template, and we have the amount recognized because we billed the first period already, and then we have a remaining amount, which is our deferred revenue of 14,800, and the total amount matches the total sales invoice. So that's a lot easier now to defer income. Of course, it does work on the expenses side as well. We won't go through that because the process is pretty much the same, just setting a template and using the deferrals. So I hope you agree that's going to be a great time saver. That's something that we'd usually have to use some complex journals, or you'd have had TSG write some customization for you. But that's now a standard feature in NAV. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at, or just talk about actually, is reporting enhancements. There's 25 of the standard reports that are in NAV have been changed to landscape orientation. I've been using NAV for a good number of years, and I used to wonder why a lot of the reports were in portrait and not in landscape. At last, Microsoft have come to the same conclusion and changed a lot of them to landscape. It means you can just get a lot more info on the page and not use as many pages coming out of your printer. There's also a nice new report, which is the vendor prepayment journal, and this provides a preview of payment information for a payment journal. It's a bit like the posting preview. You can do payment journals and see that report. If we have a quick look at it, if we can switch back to NAV. So I've gone into my payment journals, and if I just look at the bank payments, for example, Suggest vendor payments. Yeah, 100,000. That should get me some people to pay. What have I done? That's a bit better. Missed my document range out. Okay. And the other thing as well on the reporting side, there it's per document type layout, and there's also a new section for customer statements, and you can have different statements for different customers. So the custom report layouts has been extended a bit to take in statements. Okay, so as we've been talking about documents, let's go on next to the document management. And there's some new features which are a great addition to the system. It allows you to capture, store, extract, automate, and find documents easily. So it's provided by the Lexmark invoice capture system, and basically this allows you to create purchase invoices or journal lines from documents which are either emailed to you, or you could capture them with a scanner, or even use your phone. The native app that runs on phones and tablets does now include camera support, so you could take a picture of a purchase invoice that you received directly in the NAV app, and it would get attached to your NAV database automatically, directly from the phone. And this basically saves you time and facilitates auditing as well. It gives you document storage and backup, because they all become part of your NAV database. So we're going to have a look now at the features that it gives you. So we're going to have a look at how it works. We'll try and do an end-to-end service showing you what happens. And we're going to start by sending some invoices. So I'm just going to go back to my Royal Centre screen. You can see I've got no incoming documents in this system at the moment. So I'm just going to send myself some. I'm going to use the email facility here. So I'm going to actually email some purchase invoices to this company that we're using. And of course, I'll log into my Office 365 account, where I've got some invoices prepared. Just go to my Outlook. And you can see I've put some drafts together. So I've got a purchase invoice, purchase invoice 2, and a purchase invoice 3. And I've put the send to service in my address book, just called it the OCR online, and I've attached a PDF. I'm just going to click send. So that'll go. I'll send invoice 2. And I'll send invoice 3. I did say that it uses the Lexmark service for doing the cloud OCR stuff. It's actually called ReadSoft. If you want to have a look at it yourself, it's ReadSoft Online. And if I just log into this, we should see that we have those 3 invoices. So there we have 3 in progress. So the ReadSoft service has picked up those invoices that I just sent via email, and they're waiting there, ready to be processed. So if we just have a look at the setup in NAV, if we just go to OCR service setup, you can see it's quite straightforward. You use your username and a password and an authorization key, and then you also tell it the default OCR document template. This is set to GB purchase. It's a template for British invoices with line items. So I'll just click OK. And then, because this would usually happen automatically, but of course I wouldn't be able to demo everything. If everything just happened in the background, you'd think I was cheating. So I'm just going to click on the receive from the OCR service on my role center, and it says there 3 documents have been received. So that's the documents I just emailed. We saw ReadSoft had them ready, waiting for us, and now NAV has received them. And you can see here on my live tiles, I've got 3 incoming documents and 3 OCR completed. There could be errors, if you emailing a document to the OCR service that it doesn't recognize. Usually the first time you send it a supplier invoice, then you train the system on where the invoice numbers are, where the lines are, etc., using the ReadSoft Online service. It's visual and it helps you kind of like a wizard, but we won't go into that today. It's not in the scope of this session. So we have a look at the new incoming documents. It takes me straight to them, and you can see that they're for Lewis Home Furnishing, the ones I want. Some nice new things now. You can see here that we have the files attached. So we have the purchase invoice, it's a PDF, and I can view the file and just open it directly from within NAV now. So there's no going, digging and looking in the drawers or in your files for where the original paperwork is. These are all now directly within the NAV system. You can see each of them has the PDF attached. We have a look at this one. Sorry, not the XML. That won't make sense to anybody. Have a look at the PDF. I've chosen this one because it's quite a nondescript invoice, if you ask me. We've got the company who's being billed, who's supplying it. We've got an invoice number, etc. Then there's no item numbers or anything. This is just a service that's been provided to us. So it's replacing some floor in the warehouse for 17,500 with your amounts at the bottom. Just close that. If I just open this up, you'll see that we've got status new. OCR was successful, which is quite surprising because there wasn't a great deal of clues on there. But yeah, okay, let's just try and use this function to create a document. And yeah, okay, so it's telling me it's made purchase invoice 1003. It's been created with warnings. Just refresh that. So if I go to look at my purchase invoices and 1003, and let's have a look. You'll see it's picked up, it's from Lewis Home Furnishings, and there's the £17,500 for those services of repairing the flooring. And of course you can see here that the incoming document is still with that purchase invoice. If you now post the purchase invoice and it ends up in your general ledger and the VAT ledgers, etc., and that attachment or the link to the source document is there all the way throughout NAV. So at any point you can quickly and easily get back to the source document for any transaction that's been posted. So that's basically the OCR service in a nutshell. I'm sure you'll agree that it's going to be a fantastic time saver, not least when the auditors come calling each year, because they always dig into things, finding problems. There's one last feature I'm going to show you just before we finish with the new document stuff. If we look at the general ledger entries, for example, there's a new action here in the action menu. There's posted documents without an attached document. Just take that date out. I've done that wrong, and refresh. So you can see here these are all of the entries that are in the GL that don't have a document attached to them. These are the type of things that your auditors will zero in on. So you could find this order and you can actually attach a document from here. So if it was this purchase invoice from Colwood Technologies, open it and then that gets attached. So that would head off any questions from your auditors come the time.
Ian, I'm just going to interrupt there. We've got a question from one of our delegates listening with regards to document management. Whilst I'm on questions, by all means, please keep questions coming in. We will address most of them when we can at the end, but this one's just quite relevant. One of our customers online has invested recently quite heavily in Spindle for electronic document delivery. Should they stay with it, or is it worth changing to the new Microsoft product?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question, actually. But as with most add-on products offered by TSG, they're usually superior to the standard Dynamics NAV functionality. Many businesses haven't purchased these add-ons because of the cost, and the functionality is now included in NAV. And that will be valuable to those customers. But for those of you who have invested in add-ons, would need to look at the possibility of replacing with inbuilt functionality, and if it's cost effective to you. I usually think of the Microsoft offerings, including add-ons, as kind of like a bronze, a silver, and a gold medal, and the gold medal is usually NAV with the partner add-on as well. So yeah, I think the new functionality in NAV is fantastic, but there's bound to be some use cases where we would need to employ the likes of Spindle, etc. And if you've invested heavily in it, then I think that investment's not going to be wasted, because obviously the people who create Spindle and the likes, they know what Microsoft are doing, and they bring out new and additional functionality in their add-on products.
Thanks for that, Ian. Just got two very quick questions here, because I know whilst we're on this screen potentially, but time is running away with us a little bit. We were looking at the GL codes recently. How does NAV know what GL code to code to, or is that all set up separately?
That's set up separately. It's part of the application setup. You have default posting setup, so you choose for vendor posting groups and item posting groups, etc. But yeah, that's all separate setup. It's something we do in the scope sessions with you at the beginning of a project. We work out the structure of your general ledger and also your posting setup.
Great. And if you are using ZetaDocs for document management, which works quite well with NAV 2015, is that quite similar to the Lexmark system for this?
It is, yeah. They have some crossover functionality. But if you have ZetaDocs working with your 2015, then if you're planning on upgrading to 2016, then you're going to have a discussion with our consultants on whether you continue forward with ZetaDocs or whether the new functionality that's built in is good enough to replace it. The one benefit of going with the built-in functionality is going back right to the beginning of the webinar is the upgradability. If you use the built-in NAV stuff, then moving forward to the next version should be simpler. But yeah, it is crossover functionality between ZetaDocs and what's now built in. Okay, the next new feature we're going to look at is workflows. And in NAV 2016, workflows enable you to model real-life business processes like best practices or industry standard practices, ensuring a customer's credit limit has been independently verified, or requiring a two-person approval for a significant vendor payment are both examples of these. Workflow can be thought of as the movement of documents or tasks through a work process. Workflows in NAV focus on three main building blocks, and almost any workflow process, short or long, is likely to be comprised of steps related to these three blocks. They are approval. Approval leaves a work task, item or document in a blocked or unapproved state until approved by a suitable person in your organization. Notifications. A notification tells users that something has happened and or that they need to take some kind of action. And the third block is process automation. The automation means executing a process routine and have the Dynamics NAV system calculate something or perform an action. The workflows in NAV are represented by workflow events and responses. The smallest workflow is the pairing of a single event and a response. Simple workflows could be, for example, when a new customer is created, email the salesperson responsible for that region to alert them to the new customer. Or when a purchase invoice exceeds £250, email the financial controller to alert them. More complex workflows are built of chains of events and responses. Examples of more complex ones would be when a purchase invoice exceeds the £250, you put the purchase invoice on hold until it is approved by a manager. Or when a new customer is created, block them until they've had a credit check performed. Or once a purchase document has been approved by the accounting manager, automatically post it to the Dynamics NAV system. In all the examples that I've just mentioned, you should see that there's a when something happens, do something pattern. This is the event and response model that I referred to earlier. And it is the simple but effective design behind Microsoft's Dynamics NAV's workflow. So let's switch to NAV, please, and we'll have a look at how workflows work. So I'm just going to use the search box to have a look at workflows. If I can spell it correctly. And you'll see there's a whole new section within the application setup menu. But I'm just going to click into the workflows, have a look at the list of the ones I've got, and I've created one just to save a bit of time for the webinar. PIW is purchase invoice workflow. And what's that going to do? Let's have a look at edit and let's see the steps that are involved. So first of all, I can see it's in the category purchase document. There are lots of other categories where we can have workflows in. We're just going to concentrate on this one for the demonstration. And these are the steps and responses. So when the event is when a purchase document is released, then do this. It's going to post the sales or purchase document in the background, and then it's going to create a payment journal in the background, and then it's going to send a notification to a user called Fred. Each of the then responses have an edit assist, and if I just look at the create a notification, you can see that that's the response, and I've chosen user Fred. So you just build your workflows up visually like this and determine what's going to happen. So I've enabled this workflow. The system's checked that all of the steps make sense, and it's let me enable it. So let's have a look at a practical example of it. So if you remember, it's all to do with invoices. And if I just create a new purchase invoice from our friends at ARD Property Management, put in a purchase invoice number, just anything for this, and we've purchased a bike from them. It's item number 1000. We bought one, and the direct unit cost, let's say, was £750. So that's just a typical purchase invoice that you'd receive. What you'd do with the purchase invoice now is you'd usually release it, and then you'd post it, and then you'd have to remember to actually pay the vendor to make sure that they keep friendly with you. But hopefully when I release this document now and close it down, we give the system a couple of seconds for the workflows to run. If I actually refresh the list, you'll see that it's gone automatically, and I haven't had to do anything else. So what's actually just happened? Well, if we just go to posted documents and look at the posted purchase invoices, it should be the last one, and there indeed you can see the system has automatically posted my invoice for the bicycle. And also, if you remember, I asked it to automatically create a payment journal entry to make sure we actually pay for the bike. And if we look in the bank, we should see that there is the payment to pay vendor 20,000 in the amount of 881.25, which is the cost of the bike plus VAT. So that's a simple demonstration of how workflows can help you, but as you can see, it's just giving you the ability to automate all of the things that you'd routinely do, and also some of the things that you routinely forget to do. So it kind of closes the loop and gets the system working for you a lot more efficiently. So the next thing we want to look at is e-everything, it's called. These are enhancements to online service integration. And some of the things which allow you to do, which NAV now allows you to do, is to send and receive things like pan-European public procurement online, or PEPOL invoices. That's basically if you're dealing with governments across Europe. I think it's a standard that's coming in more and more into business, especially on the continent, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes more into business-to-business transactions as well. So NAV's concentrating on supporting PEPOL. And there are other things like updating exchange rates automatically, keep currency exchange rates in sync. It ensures proper conversion between local and foreign currencies, and it reduces the monetary risk of currency fluctuations. Updating the exchange rates manually is tedious and error-prone in my view. I'm sure it's not something that you enjoy doing. So let's have a quick look at currencies. If we switch back to NAV, this is just the standard list which you're all used to seeing. I'm just going to have a look at US dollars, euro, and Hong Kong dollars, I think. Fiddling around with, yeah. So you can see here I've put the exchange rate 1-to-1, which is clearly not correct. Base currency sterling, and they're worth more than euros and US dollars, and certainly a lot more than Hong Kong dollars. If I just have a look at the exchange rate services, I've got two built into the system. One is from the European Central Bank, and one is a service that Yahoo publish. I've set that as my enabled one. But if I edit it, you can see that there is a builder. So if you have a feed of currencies that you need to use from your bank, for example, you can use that as long as it's an accessible document out on the web. You can just tell NAV to go and get the document. If you preview it, you can see that this will just go off to the web service, which is published by Yahoo, and get the latest currencies. So there's the preview. And if I just click OK and go back, it's just a simple matter. I'm going to just click the Update Exchange Rates button. And again, that goes off Queries the web service because I was happy with the way it looked. And then that will do its magic in the background and update those exchange rates for me there. And if I take the filter off, go back to my list of all currencies, you can see that they're all got the latest published figures. So there's again, this will run in the job queue, so you can set the frequency however you like for that. You know, once a month or once every Monday morning. Just basically, you know, keeps you safe from currency fluctuations and the risk that poses to the business. As I mentioned, integrating to whichever service you need is available. It's a builder, it's visual, it's built into the product. Okay, so we're running over time a little bit, so we just need to go on to one last thing, which is Power BI. This is a nice new part of, it's kind of part of Office 365 is the way I like to think of it. But you can just go to powerbi.com and sign up yourself for a free account and start playing with the features and the data exploration tools that they have there. But Microsoft provide with 2016, they have something called the Power BI Content Pack. And basically what that does is empowers you to share and present data across an organization. Data can be defined centrally, but consumed, modified, and presented to the local needs of users, while everybody still sees data from the same overall picture. That's from your full business performance insights dashboard. With the package, you can start exploring in just a few minutes. It's literally it's like a 10-minute setup to just get this working, and it gives you KPIs and charts on your sales and finance data. So let's have a look at it. If we switch to my screen. So it runs in a web browser, and as I said, it's part of Office 365 is the way I think about it. You can see here one of my tiles which is available is Power BI. And this should launch me straight into the dashboard. And what this is doing now, it's just connecting over the internet to the NAV instance that I've connected it to, and it's presented me with this dashboard. It's already done all the calculations and all the data crunching in the background, and this is my dashboard here. As I said, it's got both sales and finance data, the sales items up in the top part of the dashboard, and my financials is in the bottom. If I just drill into the sales this month, for example, just by clicking on it, that'll take me into the sales dashboard, and this produces, got a nice Bing Maps integration here, showing me where my sales are coming from across Europe, and there's a few sales in America. If I want to zero in on particular countries, I can just, if I want to just do a bit of, do Austria, Germany, and Great Britain, you can see that the map is reactive and it drills into the data which I've just selected. Just clear the filters. You can just do that, and you know they're fully interactive, so you can click on them and explore your data. All of the other reports which are available are on tabs at the bottom, a bit like Excel. And if I just go back to the dashboard and just drill into the finance dashboard, And we'll just have a look at what comes up on the finance dashboard. It's fully customizable. It's just all based around filters. So if you're used to setting filters in your general ledger, in NAV, etc., you'd be able to filter and change the finance dashboard. So that's the out-of-the-box functionality for Power BI. It's pre-built. All you really need to do is wire it up to your NAV instance and start exploring your data.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much, everybody. I think that's about all the time we have now for questions. Some of the questions were unanswered, which I'm very sorry for, but we will come back to you individually after this webinar to answer your questions. Thank you very much for attending and listening. Again, if you do have any further questions from this, then please do get in touch with us, details of which are on your screen now for Ian, Stephen, our Twitter accounts, and then generic contact details for TSG. I hope this has been useful. I hope we have answered your questions, but like I say, if we haven't, you know where we are. So I shall now just pass over to Stephen Osprey, who will wrap things up for us, and then we look forward to welcoming you to another TSG webinar very soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Will. Yes, so just like to mirror that, thanks for attending, everyone. We hope it was valuable, and you can see what we mean when we say that NAV 2016 really is a step change in comparison to earlier versions. With the new features that they've got, as well as the business process and workflow enhancements, which for me are the most exciting ones. And all of that you can have on the web client and the universal app as well, and you can have that on any device at any time, all hooked up to Office 365. So if you do like what you see, please get in touch. We're happy to answer any questions that you have, specifically on your business, on any particular business issues that you're having, and how we would recommend addressing them with NAV 2016. Chances are, if it can be done, we've done it before. Specifically for the 2009 and older users, I know we had lots on the webinar. We're heavily involved with our customers in terms of planning roadmaps and upgrade paths. We're having these conversations weekly, so please get in touch around that, and we can book in a meeting and plan a way forward. So thanks for your time again, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.